play on our recording, as it always tells us. I'm going to call this meeting to order tonight. It's 6:31 and it's June 9th, 2021. This is the Cohasset Planning Board and I'm Lauren Lind. I'm the planning director. I was asked by the current chair to call this to order as the first item on our agenda is board reorganization. It's a standard practice that the board does every meeting post annual town election. So before we begin, I'm actually going to ask Jen to sort of walk through what the standard Robert's Rules process is on that. But before we begin, I'm just going to have you do a roll call to order so that because we're in virtual. So if you could do alphabetically a roll call that you're here.
Amy Glassmeyer here.
Clark Brewer here.
Tom Callahan here.
Paul Grady here.
Eric, you're muted.
Eric.
Eric Potter here.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Jen, if you could just go over, I know you were with the select board last evening, actually, when they just did this, so it's fresh in your memory.
That's correct. So I was at last night's meeting and I've been present for several reorganizations of multiple boards. So I just, where Amy is the sitting chair, you could have opened the meeting, but I understand just wanting to follow that process because you weren't part of the election. I know some people think that if it's election, it wipes it, but you could have opened the meeting. And what they did last night per Robert's Rules is that you as the chair will ask for nominations for each seat, and then people can nominate people. No second is necessary. You can do it if you wish. But then you can, as soon as you know who who the candidates are, then you can decide if you wish to have them speak or look for a second. So that's how you do it for each. And you generally start with the position of chair to vice chair to clerk. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So thank you very much. So let me call then for nominations of the chair of the Cohasset Planning Board for the year 2020 and 2021, 2022.
Are we going in alphabetical or are we?
We can, yes. Clark Brewer.
Well, I indicated that I'd be willing to chair this time, but I don't think that we should nominate ourselves.
You generally would ask for people to make a nomination for the chair. So you just call out, it doesn't have to be alphabetical, just have people say,
okay.
Okay.
Paul Grady.
I nominate.
Can I?
Oh, wait a minute. Eric Potter.
So, I would like to hear all three people that are interested in being chair at least have an opportunity to speak. So I'm going to nominate Clark Brewer, but I would ask someone nominate Tom Callahan to give everyone the opportunity to speak and make an argument for being chair of the board.
All right, then. So based on that, we have three candidates. Paul Grady nominated Amy Glassmeyer. Eric Potter nominated Clark Brewer. And
that's just it. I can't nominate two people, but so that's why
Clark Brewer.
Wait a minute. I'll nominate Tom Callahan for the purposes of having a robust discussion.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Clark.
Thank you.
All right. So then let's begin by having Clark Brewer speak.
Okay. I called each of the planning board members earlier today because I noticed on the agenda that we had a reorganization from the recent election. And if you voted for me, thank you. If you didn't vote for me because you were in a big rush and you just voted for a selectman, that's okay. So I did get sworn in and I'll be on for another 5 years. And last year we had a discussion about reorganization because I'd been chair for 4 or 5 years. I don't really remember how many. And Amy wanted to do it. And I thought, okay, I think I tried to be as encouraging as possible for trying that out. In the last year, as I explained to Amy, the issues that I have would be running an efficient meeting, being familiar with Robert's Rules, and getting on to votes in a seamless fashion. I will say that using Zoom meetings is a very different dynamic and organizational responsibility than a meeting where everybody's present live. But my main focus when I was chairman was running efficient meetings, respecting everybody's time, because I think this is really an important thing is to manage the meeting so that it runs efficiently and still cover as much as possible of content in a meeting. So I mean, I would say what I try to do is to kind of for every hearing to get to 90% of the content and make sure that everybody is heard and run that so that I'm respecting everyone's time, meaning the planning board members are municipal collaborators, the applicant and the public. I'm sure that when I was chair, I didn't do everything perfectly, but I think I have as reasonable an idea of what's going on with the zoning bylaws. And with a little bit of prep before a meeting, I'd say a couple of hours to understand what the documentation is that's available, and doing any legwork, asking questions of council before the meeting, that things that might be relevant as prep for a meeting or a hearing. That's all I would do. That's what I did before when I was chairman, and that's all I would do now, especially where the master plan effort has gone to the phase of implementation. So that's about all I got to say, but I still like to have a robust discussion. And if anybody has any questions of me, of my interest as chairman, it's really just to provide the leadership of managing meetings and running them efficiently is my main goal and concern.
Thank you for that. Tom Callahan?
I wasn't really prepared to make remarks. I know some of us have discussed this today. When I came on the board last year, the primary reason of changing chairs was that I'm a firm believer and have been for 30 years in this town of rotating chairmanships each year. And I thought we had that understanding that that's what was going to happen. And I have to admit, if I didn't say it earlier, Amy, I was a little taken aback by this, but I don't want to get into negatives. I don't want to get into fighting between us. I suspect if push came to shove, we'd have 3-2 votes against each one of us being chair. So we're going to come to an impasse. With all due respect, the meetings are choppy. As I said to you today, Amy, that's the word I'm using. They don't run smoothly. For myself, I'll have as much knowledge as the substantive rules of running a meeting and the underlying laws we operate and bylaws we operate under as anybody here. And I've chaired 2 other boards in town. So I don't know. I'm not here to sell myself. I don't want us to be arguing all night about this, but I firmly believe we should be rotating. Clark, I told you with all due respect, I don't think it's time for you to come back to it, but I'm not doing this as a burning desire to be it either, but that's what the understanding I left with last year, but whatever the majority likes to do.
Thank you, Tom. It's somewhat awkward to be the person that's pointing fingers as to who's speaking, but I'll just say the following, which is that probably we all know, and we've all commented more than once, that doing planning in an era of COVID has been really difficult for all of us. It's been difficult to get access to information. It's been difficult to conduct meetings. It's been challenging to even engage the public, because it is awkward to actually have to have everybody essentially voted up and so that they can communicate. And yet I think we accomplished a lot. So I would say that we, under my leadership, we completed the harbor plan. We have done a fabulous job as a team working on the master plan and been supportive of the individual liaison positions that we all occupy. I think some other things that probably are behind the scenes that people don't know is that I have been involved in the hiring processes that are associated with planning at town. I was involved in helping to interview and then argued strongly for John Hallen on the basis of the things that I thought that we needed. I also have been working with Woody Chittick and the rest of the land-related boards to form a consensual process whereby we meet every 3 weeks so that we can keep each other informed and there's fewer aha moments when something happens that we didn't know happened, which then basically diminishes what we can do as an individual board. It's true that the meetings that I've conducted have had some periods where there was lengthy conversations, either between the applicant, but far more likely between the planning board and the public. And the reason that I engage in that process is because that's core to planning. And that's how my experience has been as a planner. And I've felt that we've had some really tough issues. And the way to make the public believe in us is to give them a chance to talk. And so I have probably extended meetings longer than they should have. And Tom's right. I'm not an expert at Robert's rules. I've run millions of different types of meetings, but Robert's rule is not my expertise. But that doesn't mean that I can't learn. And so I guess I would say that the last thing is I feel that 1 year in this job is an insufficient period of time to actually demonstrate any expertise. And that if I, a year ago, would have understood what I understand now, I would have probably talked to Tom about that because I think it's fair what he has to say. And so I guess I would in toto suggest that I thought we all did a great job and we all worked together in a very difficult time. And I stood as the leader in that period.
Yeah, great. So, I mean, I think there's 3 of us that are willing to do the job of chairing the planning board. And when does that ever happen? Usually there's just one of us that's willing to do it. So
I think Jen should probably, well, we can continue to discuss. I was just thinking if we have plenty of time.
Meeting's closed to the public, right?
No,
No, we have till 7 o'clock to talk.
we're airing our dirty laundry in front of 4 people.
All right, so
This is an open session, and you also have time if time allots to redo the liaison appointments, or you can also choose to stay the same, but that's something that we also have on the agenda that can also be put to later. We do have a couple of things, so just to let you guys know. But there are this is public, and there are actually some attendees here.
So, I mean, I think there's pros and cons to either of the 3.
I've got people calling, texting to say they can't get into the meeting. That's why.
Yeah, I got that too from Katie. What she wrote to me was link on agenda to PB not working. It says webinar has expired.
I got the same thing from another board, another committee.
Probably people.
And Justin Pimpere said that same. I think he said the same thing.
I will check the town clerk agenda posting right now.
Okay. This happens.
Katie Dugan did get in, I see, and we did revise the agenda with a new link. So if you could just tell them to go to the website, it should be there. They reposted.
We can continue our conversation. Can we continue our conversation, Lauren? Paul Grady.
Well, Eric had nominated Clark. I'm waiting to hear. Does he have anything to add? I want to hear it. I'd like to follow up maybe, or.
So you're directing your comments to Eric. Well,
Now Eric just.
Did Paul Colery get on? Or is he on the roller coaster ride?
I haven't received anything from him. but I do have people stacking up in my messages of not being able to get in.
He said that it was his daughter's birthday.
Yeah, and he's on vacation. There we go. So Eric, Paul tossed the ball to you and asked your thoughts.
Well, I think, well, first of all, I think Amy's done a fantastic job over the last year dealing with what she's had to deal with the pandemic and everything before. It's not easy. I think I do agree with, I was on one other board. I'm not as accomplished as many other people here, but you know, I was on one other board, and I liked the way they had done it, where they rotated out the chairman, but a chairwoman, whatever you want to, chairperson, but the vice chair was someone that was groomed to be the next chairperson. And I think that's maybe something that we should look at as a board, because, I kind of am in, as much as I do love Clark, I think it was nice, Clark, that, we rotated out the chairperson position. And I think it was great that Amy stepped up and did that, because I do think that these boards need to turn over. And I think that otherwise what happens is you have a chairman or chairwoman, and then you have a board, and that leader dictates, and the citizens and the people that get in front of you, the applicants know that the chairperson really, it's almost like a monarchy, and everyone else is kind of second fiddle. So that's why you should have turnover, I think. But it's a difficult decision for me to really make. But, I do think that, with three people that are looking to be a part of this, I do think that I believe that probably turnover and changing positions does make sense, with Tom and Clark wanting to take over as chair again. I do agree with Amy that it probably does take 2 years to put your initiatives forth, but I think the position, it probably should turn over once a year, I would like it with the vice chair kind of almost being the person that's in the seat.
Yeah, and sometimes the vice chair can run more than, just a half a meeting. I think Tom got to run over the last year. Usually there's things that come up for the chairman, and the vice chair runs a few more. So then the vice chair has some experience running some of the meetings, and just jumping in as from vice chair to chair is not such a big deal.
Paul Grady.
Well, I'm for giving Amy another chance, another year. Couple of reasons. We're coming out of an extraordinary event, COVID. We've all been looking at each other basically over a screen for the last year, the public, and I think Amy's done an extraordinary job. Other things to learn. Is there a curve? Yes. Are we going to get back to a normal environment? I would say yes, eventually, and I hope sooner than later. But you take that into account. I don't think anyone's come better prepared. I think Amy, in learning, tightens up the meetings, follows the agenda. Clark, in deference, you've served several years, and I think your time will come again, and it should. But I think this year, coming out of the COVID, that's where I'm backing Amy 100%, because I think she's done a fantastic job. It's been a difficult environment for everybody. The meetings haven't always been easy. There's also a new select person that's been put on the board, and that select person is offering to work with planning. And that should be an interesting event, kind of a rarity. So, hopefully that's going to come to pass. And I think Tom does a fantastic job as vice chair, and then next year I would advocate strongly for a rotation, but this year has been rather extraordinary. So I think we should take that into account. That's my thoughts on the process. That's why I'm supporting Amy for this year.
Let's take a vote.
So I don't know if
I take a first round vote and then go to a second round.
Lauren, do you want to take over the management of the voting?
Hello.
So where we are now is everybody's spoken.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I am so sorry to have to do this. I had just been back and forth on phone calls. There has been an error, a technical error in the passcode posting. You are correct. That is why there's people who can't get in. Again, I apologize. There are multiple steps and iterations that happens when these agendas are posted. A lot of logistics that go into it, and an incorrect version was posted. I apologize. We have to continue our agenda to a subsequent meeting so that we can be in open session. The reason why we have some attendees is because some of the applicants got the revised copy, they got the correct revised copy via email because we knew they were on the agenda. The rest of the public meeting posting is not publicly accessible because of that passcode incorrection. So I am sincerely apologize for this. Jen and I would like to suggest that we continue to the next Wednesday. I know we have an Elm Street Corridor forum, but Jen is suggesting that she could host a meeting by the planning board separate than that, so we could try to stagger a time.
So you want to continue? You want to continue the entire agenda?
That is, yes. I conferred with Karis about whether this was legal activity, and we would have to do this.
Oh, come on.
It's as if the door to town hall were locked and the public can't enter the meeting.
You can't, and we can't.
The board can't nominate a chair or a vice chair.
No, you have to do that in open session.
So wait a minute.
Okay.
Why? Some of us had a correct Zoom link that can't be provided to people right now.
But the problem is it because it wasn't publicly accessible on the town website, and we don't have the same access as the town clerk has. We can't post it in the correct location. It's just not going to be the same.
I'll make
I
a
will
motion
say
to
this:
continue.
if I become chair, we're going back to live meetings as soon as possible. I can tell you that.
I'll make a motion to continue the entire agenda for 9th of June to the 16th of June
At 6:30.
at 6:30.
Second.
Right. Can
I'm
I?
not blaming anybody. It's just the Zoom platform itself. I'm just saying we got to get back. We got to get back to live meetings as soon as possible.
If I could just, while you're all here, on that topic again, I sincerely apologize. This is, I was back and forth with Jen and Karis as soon as we realized this to figure out the best course of action. Again, I really apologize for the inconvenience, and we are working with the town administration on how we get back to Zoom. And this will be one of the boards that will have to, of course, go first because we have public hearings and things that we need to get to. So,
Right.
again,
And I just want to say that this was a technical area that somebody uploaded the incorrect agenda. We have been extremely fortunate. This has happened on multiple occasions to all the other boards. Not to make it any better, but mistakes happen. So we couldn't be more sorry. But like Tom's saying, we're going to get back and we're going to be in public, but there's probably going to be, there'll probably be a hybrid, to be honest, because
Well, that's fine.
but we are working on that, Tom, just so you know. And
So I think we have a motion made by Clark Brewer to continue this meeting until June 16th.
And it was
Do I have a
seconded.
second?
It was
6:30
seconded.
p.m.
Do I have a second?
We just,
It was seconded.
It was seconded.
twice.
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
We just need to vote and then a vote to adjourn.
No, you need to continue each hearing to a specific date and time.
So we have
Public
some
hearings.
business to still do. So let's take the previous 7 p.m. public hearing pursuant to 300-54 of the Cohasset zoning bylaw for application for large home plan review filed by Eames Capital Partners. Lauren, when can we?
Same.
It's 6:30. 6:30 at on June 16th.
Well, if we do it at 6:30, then we'll have a problem of not having concluded the election.
We can do a reorg at the end of the meeting.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Tom prefers to do it at the end of the meeting. So let's just move everything up.
Okay, please, just one person speak at a time.
Please just move all the agenda items up and let's do the public hearings first, and then we can continue the airing of dirty laundry of the election afterwards.
So one at a time, I'll make a motion to continue the Windy Hill Road large home review to 6:30 on the 16th.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Clark Brewer.
Clark Brewer, aye.
Tom Callahan.
Aye.
Paul Grady.
Aye.
Eric Potter.
Aye.
Amy Glassmeyer.
I'll make a motion to continue the 1 Pleasant Street meeting to 7 p.m. on the 16th of June.
Second.
Roll call vote. Clark Brewer.
Clark Brewer, aye.
Tom Callahan.
Aye.
Paul Grady.
Aye.
Harry Potter.
Aye.
Amy Glassmeyer. Karis North.
I'm sorry, I just noticed on the posted agenda that 1 Pleasant Street was going to be continued to 6/23 anyway. Do you want to revise that?
We don't want to revise it to, we would want to keep it in the position it's in.
No, I think per the timeline we've mapped out, 1 Pleasant Street actually can go. It was going to be open and continued immediately to June 23rd anyway.
Great.
So do we then, so Lauren, how do we set this up so that we have it here, we were going to open it up and then continue it. Do we?
You're just opening it, continuing it to June 23rd at
so
8:30 p.m.
We're going to open this and continue it.
How do we continue this one if this
23rd.
meeting's null and void? Basically, shouldn't we continue it to the next meeting and then continue it again? Because presumably some people in the public couldn't get into this meeting, and then they will get into the next meeting, and then they'll know it's on for the 23rd.
Okay, fair enough. We have a motion for that anyway. Okay.
So we have a motion to continue the meeting of 1 Pleasant Street to its extended date, which is in June 23rd. Can I get a motion, please?
I think we already had a motion, but I'll make a motion.
We had a scramble of things. Can we get something clear, please?
Just made a motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Clark Brewer.
Clark Brewer, aye.
Tom Callahan.
Aye.
Paul Grady.
Aye.
Eric Potter.
Aye.
Amy Glassmeyer, aye. Next public hearing.
I'll make a motion to continue the 147 South Main Street to 7:05 on the 16th of June.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Clark Brewer.
Clark Brewer, aye.
Tom Callahan.
Aye.
Paul Grady.
Aye.
Eric Potter.
Eric Potter, aye.
Amy Glassmeyer, aye. Any other business that we need to attend to this evening? Clark
Yeah,
Brewer?
we need to continue the planning board reorg to, let's just call it 7:30 on the 16th of June. That's a motion.
Second.
What, wait a minute. What time do we have the 1 Pleasant set for the 23rd? So that, okay, so we have we have 7:30 open.
147 is at 7:05, so 7:30 for the reorg.
Right. All right. Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Clark Brewer.
Clark Brewer, aye.
Tom Callahan.
Aye.
Paul Grady.
Aye.
Eric Potter.
Eric Potter, aye.
Amy Glassmeyer. Is there any other business that we can attend to at this moment?
Motion to
If
adjourn.
not, then I would like call for a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Clark Brewer.
Clark Brewer, aye.
Tom Callahan.
Aye.
Paul Grady.
Already aye.
Eric Potter.
Eric Potter, aye. Don't worry about it, Lauren and Jen. These things happen. It's no big deal.
Amy
Yeah.
Glassmeyer, aye.
We'll see you next
Meeting
week.
is adjourned.
Thank you guys.